Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button for us. Smash it. Smash it, folks. If you know good for yourself, smash that button. Good to have each and every one of you on the live with us tonight. Good folks, beautiful people. Happy to have all of you all here with we outside tonight. Good to have you beautiful folks on the live. Those of you who are joining us from here in Guyana, those of you joining us from some far-flung part of the world, welcome to our broadcast. Welcome. Look, names on the live already. Good to have each and every one of you here with us, folks. Share the live. Cheryl and Godfrey. Good to have you, Sandra. Good to have each and every one of you, Sharon. Good to have you, Roxanne. All of the beautiful folks joining us this evening. We're happy, and privileged to have all of you. Welcome in the ring, folks. Welcome. We are happy. We are delighted to see all of you here with us. All of you wonderful folks, you all are outside. Welcome in the ring. Thing there. We're getting audio one way, but we're not getting audio the other way. We're getting audio one way, but not the other way. But good to have all of you folks on the live with us. Nonetheless, let's see if we can do it this way. Let's see if we can do it this way. Where is it? Folks, happy to have each and every one of you. You know, I'm seeing the audio showing up here, but not seeing it the other way. Interesting. Good to have, as I said, all of you wonderful folks on the live with us this evening. We'll have to have a workaround. What shall we do? Good folks. Good to have each and every one of you folks on the live with us. Is that it? Is that one of them? We can take it how we get it. All right. Let's see if we get it this way. Are you guys hearing us this way now? You see, when we bring that in, the thing was going out. But we're happy to have you folks on with us this evening. The opener, folks. The opener. Love it. You know, had a folks in here. Good. We had a press conference today from the WPA. We're going to give you some quick highlights. Some of what we heard, some of what we saw. The WPA, they had a press conference around 11 today, a virtual press conference. And they spoke quite a few things, folks. As we begin tonight, the opener, the Working People's Alliance. Take a look. Take a listen.
No stone must be left unturned, and all aspects of the electoral machinery and process must be addressed with the seriousness they deserve. Because our elections determine who governs in a winner-take-all system, which confers on the winner almost absolute power and relegates the loser to a state of powerlessness. A government which spends money like a drunken sailor on its pet and wastes money on corrupt initiatives should not complain about spending on electoral integrity. A government that is prepared to spend tens of millions on political witch hunting of GCOM personnel, but is not prepared to spend on electoral integrity, is at best hypocritical. The current voters list is bloated and flawed. It opens the door for electoral manipulation and fraud. To use such a list to distribute monies is equally fraught with danger and possibilities for corruption. This is unacceptable. No amount of political spinning can justify losing $1 for each pound of sugar produced.
We spend money and waste money hopelessly in these attempts to find short-term fixes to what is a secular or long-term problem. And we have to get out of that cycle.
A clean voters list with biometrics would be foolproof, almost foolproof, and to ensure that we cover as many bases as possible to ensure that there is little or no room for manipulation.
The PPP, unlike other parties, has access to the voters list, the list of electors.
A voters list is supposed to be used for elections, period. And it should not be used for disbursement of cash handouts.
We should not have our children who bear children have to go through penalty so that we could give them $100,000. That's chicken feed. They spend more than that in a trip. And I think it's a really rank injustice to treat our people that way.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. That's just some of what came out of the WPA press conference today, the Working People's Alliance. Today, it started around 11 and went for about an hour. And we had some very, very substantive things coming out of that press conference. Folks, as we're coming on this evening, we learned that there was a fire in New Amsterdam, being told it's being brought under, is there in a better spot there now? It's being brought under control. There's a fire at Strand, New Amsterdam, next to Scotiabank. They tell us building between Penguin Hotel and Scotiabank there in New Amsterdam's on fire. We trust that there's no loss of life and limb there. They tell us the fire is coming under control. Again, fire there in Strand, New Amsterdam, next to Scotia Bank. And our thoughts and prayers with all the folks there. We can talk a little bit about what Nigel you said over the weekend. I didn't apologize to nobody. He didn't actually say that, but that was my version of it. We ain't apologizing for nobody. People got, when the PvP finish apologizing for the things they have done in their political life and their political history in this country, and then we can start apologizing. Lead the way, PvP. Run out. Apologize. When you're gonna apologize? Among the things. When Jack, you're gonna apologize to Vashni? Huh? When you apologize to Vashni? Let's start there. We got so many things the PvP is supposed to apologize to the people of this country. Right now, dire straits, businesses closing, people hungry in this country. Right now, what are they talking about? So the leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR, had a big conference over the weekend. We can talk a little bit about that too and listen to some of the folks coming out of that conference, some of the things they said as well. And you all know Big Head got to be on the fight card tonight too. Lots happening at the GCOM end, and those are just a couple of the things we're covering this evening, folks. Just a couple of the things that we're covering this evening. But good to have each and every one of you here. We're looking at that fire there, Strand, New Amsterdam. Yeah. Never an easy day. Never an easy day, folks. Now, this is where we're starting tonight. This is where we're starting. A lot of things happening, folks, internationally. We'll take you here, and then we're going to bring you back where we are. Lots happening internationally. Donald Trump, they're telling us he is set to put a man in charge of the Senate that a lot of folks got question marks over. Rick Scott is the name of the fella. They tell us he's the former CEO of Columbia HCA, and they said he oversaw one of the largest Medicaid fraud, right? One of the largest Medicaid fraud settlements, rather, in U.S. history, and emerged as the frontrunner of the Senate majority leader under Trump's anticipated second term. Right? So they're watching this fella. Said he's a wealthy political figure and a staunch Trump supporter. And Rick Scott, said he looked like the fella who is going to do it. He's going to be the Senate leader. The Senate leader. So we're watching that, folks. All things Trump. Can't get enough of it, can you? Y'all look away since. Can't get enough of it, can you? Have you wonderful, beautiful folks? You've been able to look away? Rick Scott, folks, all the best to him. You all know people come and go from the Trump administration like that. Right? So don't keep your fingers crossed. We wish him longevity. But like a lot of people don't got the stomach for Trump for too long. Come and go like the wind. You all know by now he says Nikki Haley coming back. Who's the other fella coming back? The fella went here the other day, wrap up tight with them. With the PPP. You all remember him? He was with the PPP here just the other day. Give you a hint, he was on a state visit quite recently. Anne-Marie Selby, Renella Garnett, Gail Alicock, Marlon Thomas, Irwin Dunn, Jai Shri Chan. You don't remember the fella? Oh, yes. Trump said, why he back? He run to Guyana too quick. Don't let's have him back. The man Pompeo. So we're watching to see what happens here with Mr. Rick Scott. We are watching that, folks. As we on international news, Spirit International Airlines, Volme, Samuel, Dolly, Moses. Spirit Airlines was flying into Haiti today when it was struck by gunfire. Yep. Had to make a detour. So Haiti's international airport is closed as we speak. A lot of flights being diverted. Remember Irfan and me and all of them said mission accomplished. Once they had the transitional council in, mission accomplished. Well, the folks in Haiti said not so fast. And this Spirit Airlines aircraft not only came under fire, as stewardess, they're telling us, was struck in her shoulder. A stewardess was struck, period. As that aircraft came under fire. Yep, they said it was subsequently diverted to the Dominican Republic. And the U.S. Embassy is now warning that gangs are attempting to obstruct travel, prompting Spirit, JetBlue, American Airlines, and others to suspend their Haiti operations. And they said the violence coincided with the swearing in of a new interim prime minister. Oh, they've had about 3 now in the last 9 months. 3 prime ministers. And Irfan Ali, Mia Motley, and some of the other jagabats and trench crappos. The mission accomplished. You all remember when they were at the airport giving that press conference? They said all is nice and dandy. Mission accomplished. How it looking now? You got to see the thing through. We said it here. They were pursuing this with no gusto. I see them pay more attention to the black belly sheep, the Brahman bull, the bow-leg shrimp, than they pay to their own sister CARICOM country, Haiti. So this was happening. The airport is closed. Airlines suspend operations. That Spirit stewardess, they're telling us, receiving the necessary medical attention. Yeah. Believe it or not, that's the world we're living in. We wish the stewardess the best. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are always towards it. I think barbecue is going to become Prime Minister of Haiti. Remember I said that. You remember, you know the gang leader who controls most of the gangs in Haiti, barbecue? He's going to become Prime Minister of Haiti. He's going to become Prime Minister of Haiti. Right? They're trying to dodge him, go around, come around and so on. He's going to become the Prime Minister. They don't want to do a deal with barbecue. An ex-policeman. He's going to become the Prime Minister. So Spirit Airlines suspended its service, JetBlue, American Airlines, and some other services as well. So factor that in. Factor that in. This is something else we're following regionally. Before we come home, you all remember a member of parliament in Antigua and Barbuda was killed quite recently. He was stabbed to death, shot throughout that tiny island of Antigua and Barbuda, much like when the minister here was killed Saturday or so. We still want to a COI for that? Has the PPP apologized for not taking an interest in the death of Saturday Osa? Every year, his family writes to the press hoping to have a COI. Because why? The family wants closure. The family wants closure. What happened on that fateful day? What happened? Gunmen went in that place and shot up that family. Even killed the dog. That's how you know how serious that was. Even killed the dog. And this is not Springfield, where the dogs and the cats, huh? We were ahead of Springfield. Even killed the dog. The people apologize for that. Every year, Saturday Saw family writes to the press, bemoaning the fact that their loved one has not been investigated. The death has not been investigated. And in typical Jagdio fashion, he come now, he wants somebody else apologize for Saturday Saw's family. That's the wickedness. So here you got this MP being killed in Antigua Barbuda. Assad Michael, that was the name of the Antigua Barbudan member of parliament. And the prime minister today, Gaston Brown, who you see here, he was expressing gratitude for the, praising the police for the quick arrest, in the stabbing to death of Assad Michael. He said he was speaking to Point FM and praised law enforcement and thanked the public for their assistance in identifying the suspect who was apprehended. He said late last Friday. Police reports indicate that Francis, this fellow Francis, confessed and provided evidence linking him to the crime. So we're watching that. Prime Minister Bragg emphasized the importance of a thorough investigation to uncover any additional involvement, stressing that high-profile cases like Michael's death carry significant implications, of course, for national security and for the reputation of the island. There's something Jangre them no factor in. Reputation? Well, let's say we don't can't get more stain and dirty. We don't can't get more wicked, stink and dirty. National security. What is national security? A minister in their own government assassinated. And these many years later, like so many question marks and asterisks over this administration, we don't know who killed Saturday Osar. Folks, one day you're going to hear Jagdio gone overseas, and the next thing you know, you can see an orange suit rendition. Those things cannot go unanswered, Guyanese brothers and sisters. They just can't. They can't go unanswered. They can't go unanswered. You know, I was peeping into the General Council meeting of the People's National Congress Reform. You know, we don't have space here to really lay out this graphic. Hundreds of people, members, executive members of the People's National Congress Reform. You all know the PNCR is a behemoth of a political party. Hundreds of people, members converged on the People's National Congress headquarters there to fire over the weekend. Hundreds of persons, you know, coming to talk party business, and also the about what's happening, what's coming up, folks. General and regional elections, and you know, I was heartened to hear leader of PNCR, Aubrey Norton, say, "We taking government, prepare yourselves. We're vying for second spot. We are taking government." Yeah, that's what he said. Folks, this government on the back foot, you know. This installed regime on the back foot. And you only got to do a couple things right. You got to do 500,000. Move a couple pieces on the chessboard. Right? And out you goes. Out you goes. Remember, we were articulating here the reasons why The Americans say Camden lost. And when you look at the spreadsheet, you can take 90% of them bucks right here. 90% of them bucks. Why think all them businesses closing? All them BPOs, them bay closing. Albion and Sugar State about to close shop too. We taking government. We taking it. So I was quite heartened to see hundreds of members of the PNCR over the weekend, strategizing there for the 2025 general and regional elections. Y'all better get yourself together. And I was happy also that I saw Mervyn Williams from Nation Watch seeking the opportunity, as you had folks there from out of town, to give their impression what's happening economically and socially where they're living, folks. Take a look. Take a listen to some of it.
The People's National Congress Reform held its quarterly General Council meeting over the weekend. General Council is the second highest form of the party between Congresses. Mervyn Williams, an advocate for indigenous rights, was among the delegates to General Council. Julian Cole, a delegate from Mabaruma, spoke about the movement of goods from coastal Guyana.
Goods getting into the region, it's kind of on a delay. And then also what we have is the capacity that the boat carries. It's like a one-third cut from what Kibia used to fetch. So there's this kind of an issue because of goods reaching in the region at a delayed time. You find prices of items going up.
There is also a problem with water distribution. There are water mains in Mabaruma.
What we should look at is an expansion of the well where we normally get the water source from. So in cases of dry weather, like are some of the issues that we need to look at in our region, and I think it's affecting the people in our region.
Williams spoke about an efficient service that once operated in the Northwest.
That there was a time when there was a ferry service that was weekly. On alternate weeks, you'll have the MV Aquero going in there with twin hatches taking cargo. And on the other week, you'll have the MV Kimbia or Kumaka or Barima or Lady Northcote, as the case may be, transferring passengers and also cargo. So there was a very efficient service.
He said that this system operated right up to when the PPP came to power in 1992. Said Yassin represented the Esquibo Coast. He said that crime is on the rise in Region 2.
Businesses being robbed on almost on a daily basis. Business people being shot, not only robbed, they're being shot. And residents are fearful for their lives, especially the main sanitation areas.
The award of contracts to unqualified people is another issue.
Unqualified contractors, people who doesn't know anything about construction and so on. You're getting substandard work, for example, roads, they build today and build tomorrow. The distribution of cash grants, for example, well, everybody knew what Region 2 is predominantly an agriculture region. If they give in cash grants to farmers and come to problems with the crops, you will find that persons who do not have anything, not a single plant, is being given that grant.
He said that there is discrimination in the distribution of cash grants.
Favoring of persons, political persons, people aligned to the ruling party. Another thing you have, when cash grants is also been given to fish folks, the boat owners. They normally invest like about $400,000 to $500,000 to get a boat to go out. Now, when you are going to give them $100,000 or $150,000, it can't do anything. It can't even buy fuel.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. I did tell you, we only got to do a couple things right now. We got to do everything right. And as Aubrey Norton said, leader of the PNCR, leader of the opposition, we take in office. You all listen to those issues there? We're going right in this country. We're going right in this country. Here what our brother from Bartica said, we're right in this country. Bartica in the house.
Malkisoon hails from Bartica. He says that a lot of young people are being left out of development programs.
We have a lot of job opportunities for young people. A lot of young people coming out of school and don't have jobs at the park work wise. And the next issue we have in that we having a lot of contracts, roads being done in Bartico or building being built in Bartico, and people from Bartico itself not having the opportunity to get work.
Some time back, the government had said that when contracts are awarded in an area, the labor force would come from that area. In this case, the labor force comes from far-flung areas outside the region. This removes employment opportunities for the locals, according to Kisoon.
Next issue is with the Venezuelans in our region. Some of the Venezuelans are getting opportunity to register as a Guyanese and get ID card, and our own people in Guyana not getting the full opportunity to register, and they're always having some problem. And the next issue that they get into squat in Bartico, and when Guyanese ask for piece of land or to squat is being a problem, not in Bartico alone, in the general, in the whole Guyana.
He said that the situation is such that the Venezuelans could do as they please. Then there is the cost of living in the area.
Cost of living is very high when it comes to food, greens, and so forth. So I think the next government, our government, the PNU, put agriculture system in each region. So each region could supply their own greens and so forth. So we don't have to get the greens from Georgetown. So it'll be less cheaper in Bartico.
Blackouts are ever present, he said.
I'm working at the hospital. The hospital steady getting blackouts. And we have patients, we have work to do, and we can get to do our work because of the blackouts. Since we were in government 2015 to 2020, we never had so much of blackouts like how we have in Bartico. And now we're getting a lot of blackouts.
The blackout situation is countrywide. Bartica at one time had its own generation system under the coalition government.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. Now was our brother from Bartica as well. That's a snapshot of just what's happening in this country. And we spoke to you this morning about that Samuk News article, how the cost of living affecting people. Another snapshot. And we're not producing bad news here, you know. This is what happening. Any papers you open, any newscast you watch, this is what happening. Aubrey said we taking government, who vex? Those comments, folks, was on the sidelines of the People's National Congress's, this is the General Council meeting. It was held from November 9th to 10th. The theme, folks, here is power theme. Forming the next government, building a just, inclusive, and prosperous society. I could stand by that. Forming the next government. So Mr. Norton encouraged those who attended to continue pressing on. Right? He criticized the PPP's government for their alleged corruption, for the corruption. Corruption, plain and simple. Poor planning, and urged members to strengthen outreach efforts and to promote the party's people-centered development strategy. We gotta keep pushing, folks. We gotta keep pushing every quarter. Don't give up and don't give in. I'm telling you all, we're on the cusp of this thing. We just gotta do a couple things right. A couple things right. I can see Jack just sit down drinking a little Coca-Cola saying, tell me what's a couple things. Well, you're gonna wait long like for that apology you want from the Alliance for Change. You're gonna wait rather long. We taking government. Full stop. Congrats to all the folks who came out from the various locations to that General Council and share all your thoughts and so on, folks. Together, we can do this thing. We can do it. Anybody steal your joy? Folks, Peters Hall, the bridge, they're building the bridge, ripping people's lives apart. They don't care. They don't care. And here they're telling us they got some traffic disruptions coming. Those folks who live in the back street and the second to last back street, they got some traffic restrictions coming there. They say to, the bridge is coming to Clark Street, Peters Hall, and it says this because the work is intensifying, is necessitating some traffic disruption, as they're going to be, and some potential utilities disruption too. They stick that in. It ain't really got to do with the bridge, it's just them on any given day. Disruptions in the utilities, and we come for that to that in a second. Billions of dollars them boys spending for the power ships. We could have been acquiring our own generators. That's what David Patterson of the Alliance for Change tells us. But they're telling us here in Petersall, electricity lines are going to be relocated underground to accommodate the bridge pillion installation. They're going to be you might have some intermittent, Petersall folks, you guys are going to have some intermittent electricity loss, inclusive of water, right? Water loss too. People in Petersall said this any given day. You don't got to notify us. Just do what you've been doing. Any given day, traffic, they say, through Thomas Street and Back Road will be limited beginning November 18. Right? So it's a heavy construction material. It's going to be a heavy construction. Vehicles are going to be moving through that area. We wish you all the best. We wish you all the best. And to get all of that done, the lives there, they had to rip apart, folks. My God. My God, Mr. Norton has some words for them too.
The government has begun demolishing homes at Petersall, East Bank, Demerara. These homes are said to be in the path of the new Demerara Harbour Bridge. Opposition leader Aubrey Norton feels that the demolition is premature. He said that his party did engage with the residents.
My understanding from the lawyers was that there was some kind of agreement on compensation, but that the people needed time to move. And as I understand it, Edgel turned up the day before, tell them they had to move, and the next day they began to bulldoze the people property. It is the typical attitude of the People's Progressive Party.
He said that a similar action is being pursued at Liverpool on the quarantine.
In Liverpool, they want to pass a canal through the people of Liverpool, private transported lands, and they're telling them about compensation, but they already began to dig this canal when there are other places in PPP strongholds that they could pass the canal and not get into conflict with the African Guyanese community in Liverpool.
He said that in his view, the PPP is deliberately attacking the African Guyanese with a view to encouraging confrontation. He said that the PPP wants an ethnic clash.
With the further hope that such a clash will redound to the benefit of the People's Progressive Party. I see a lot of these malicious, destructive things that are being done as part of this plot to ensure there is conflict, which they think will suit them.
In the case of Petersall, some of the people received compensation.
But that you couldn't give them the money today and expect them to find house and do every other thing. And you just go while they're there. First, you take off the water, cut off their light, even though the people would have paid their water bill and the light bill. It is showing you the autocratic nature of the People's Progressive Party.
Welcome back, folks. Yeah, that's the nature of the beast, folks. The nature of the beast. We did tell you that Petersall folks can expect some blackouts. Listen to money that we're spending on generators and all that. People still getting blackouts in this country. Petersall and elsewhere. Yesterday, I think today we had about 2 bouts of blackouts. I'm certain where you are. You had some blackouts to contend with today. Listen to money these people are spending. Claiming, alleging, they're procuring power ships. But we ain't getting power. We're not getting the power. David Patterson, Alliance for Change, I think, has some thoughts on this.
Former Minister David Patterson has said that there has been no planning for the electricity sector. Speaking at a recent press conference, he said that rental of power generation equipment is astronomical.
They claimed, as you all know, Antonio, that how they're building this gas ashore project, which was supposed to be 300 megawatts. It will be finished We told them that that approach was idiotic, that they're leading the country into dire straits. But of course, they listened to no one other than themselves. And so in 2024, what they did was, if you could remember, they went to Panama and bought some third-hand containerized sets, which the reports are that they're not functioning correctly. And that was installed in January of this year. And then about in March of this year, still suffering blackouts, they went to get a 36 megawatt power ship.
But these two acquisitions have done little to ease the blackout woes. He said that the new generator with a 45 megawatt capability would have cost some $200 million.
We will be paying in rental, and those generators are operating now. And if we didn't install those in 2020, the country would have been worse off. We'll be paying these two companies for 2 years, a total of $426 million.
He said that Guyana could have purchased 180 megawatts of power generation for that same amount of money. He queried the economic czar who came up with the rental idea.
The PPP's approach to our power management has been absolutely abysmal. Every grid in any progressive country adds on power in a staggered manner depending on their needs. As of 2020, when we demitted office, we as a coalition had progressively over the 5 years added on power purchased and installed generations, about 70 megawatts of power.
Patterson said that since assuming office in 2020, the government has done nothing. And this is despite a number of facilities, including hotels, are opening. These are adding pressure to the power grid. In 2020, the demand for power was expected to grow by some 30 megawatts per year.
Welcome back, folks. Y'all see that? Billions of dollars, not millions, billions. On us, folks. The Christmas season is upon us. I know those of you in the diaspora, you're going to laugh at what we are being encouraged on here because it's like second nature to y'all in the diaspora. I know that. But we're now catching up. We got things on the books, but they only seem to be enforced certain times. We should hear about these things every single day. Consumers got rights. But I'm happy nonetheless. I might not hear it as often as I want to, but I'm happy I'm hearing it. Folks, the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission, CCAC, Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission, they're advising customers to assess and assert their rights under the Consumer Affairs Act. And the Commission is also reminding suppliers to adhere to legal standards. The CCAC anticipates, they say, an increase in consumer complaints because we're heading into the festive season, of course. And they said this is going to be particularly in the area of electronics. And as such, they're encouraging shoppers, listen to this, research your products. Come on now. Could I get an amen? Research your products. Read your contracts carefully. Request receipts. And inspect items before purchase. That's what they say. Inspect your items before purchase. They go on to say here that consumers should also request warranties. Come on. Request your warranties of at least 6 months. I know that's second nature to you all who are watching us in the diaspora. They said you are entitled to return non-defective items within 7 days. Lots of Guyanese don't know that. You are entitled by law to return non-defective items within 7 days, with suppliers permitted to charge a restocking fee of up to 10%. And don't worry, the people close, broke up the people thing, and then you want to return it. Right? Non-defective items within 7 days. And the business place, they're allowed to charge a restocking fee of up to 10%. Right? and the Competition and Consumers Affairs Commission, they are also warning suppliers against this no refund policy. I see it in a lot of businesses. You see a big thing on the wall, no refund. That's illegal. Come on, guys, we got to get wise and smarter. That is illegal. And so the Competition and Consumers Affairs Commission, they are warning suppliers against that no refund policy. And they're directing their consumers also to file complaints online. File your complaints online. They're anticipating an uptick in complaints during this festive season. So watch how you're all shopping there. And as they say in business, caveat emptor, buyers beware. Buyers beware. What is the policy? You know? I know some people promise you $100,000 now, they can't come through. They say instantaneously. That was the 10th day of October. What day is today? It's a month ago. It was a month ago, instantaneously. Nobody trick y'all this season. Please, I could imagine some of y'all don't go into the shop, they're expecting some money. Give a little punks out, beef here now. Nobody trick y'all this season. Caveat emptor, beware. Beware. Dangerous out here, folks. That's what they are. Dangerous. Don't trust them. Lenora Market getting some cameras. Lenora Market. Why not East Penitence Market? Why not Border Market? Why not Stabrook Market? Lenora Market. The cameras are coming. Uncle Efren is watching. Yeah. Uncle Efren see one from my bedroom and see what happening. When the catfish coming in, so you can roll over and buy some. Installation of security cameras and an increased police presence. Folks can expect at the Lenora Market on the West Coast. So this is they're offering now enhanced security for shoppers, farmers, and vendors. Why Lenora Market in particular? Why not every market across the country? Right? Why not every market? I have a dream, folks, that one day every market in this country is going to be secure. Every market, not just Lenora Market with earphone shops, but every other market. Equal and straight. Equal and straight. I think it's one thing. You think it's one thing we got to apologize for in this country? I think it's one thing now. Who would apologize, for instance, for Maria? You know, we don't talk a lot about mental health in this country. And last weekend, it was last week Friday to be specific, I heard Colin Haynes, brother from the Alliance for Change, a mental health practitioner, helps in this area, talk about the mental health not only of the family members who would have lost kids, for instance, in the Monday school fire, but the community that would have experienced that trauma. Y'all remember? A night after, 2 nights after, they haul all those folks out of Georgetown Public Hospital for candlelight vigil. Do you remember that? Oh, what a callous government. This is heartless. For photo up. Them kids crying in pain, writhing in pain. Them boys care. They want the moment for photo ops. It was interesting to hear a practitioner talk about mental health and how the entire community would need guidance and counseling and all of that. And then I heard indigenous advocate Laura George also saying, when is the people going to take responsibility? And the state, what happened to our 20 kids there in Madio? When they can take responsibility? When? And they come telling you they want an apology. Hypocrites.
Years passed since the fire destroyed the dormitory in Madi, killing 20 children. Nothing is being heard about the situation. Colin Haynes, a mental health practitioner, says that the Mahdi situation was handled poorly.
When something like that happens, right? And this is normal for best practices around the world. You would have to send in public health practitioners in there, and they would have to surveil. When a fire happens and something like this traumatic has happened where people have lost lives, it creates trauma across a whole community. Not just the families, but the whole community. And the stories we heard of Mahdi and how the Ministry of Health handled it was poor. They sent in some unqualified counselors and psychologists who weren't equipped to deal with the issue.
He said that the government reacted to the situation by sending supplies without ascertaining what the people needed.
That's why you need to have a robust public health and mental health program that can identify the needs right away for crises. Now, the other thing I want to mention is how the government had hastily brought the families to the memorial. Again, that was terrible to do because folks were already in trauma. And then you're going to take them now to a memorial and further add grief to them to show the community or show the world or show the country that you care for them is just not right.
He said that having recognized the need for the community, he reached out to the Minister of Health to volunteer his services.
I reached out to the minister personally to give him my voluntary services and mental health practitioner to assist. And unsurprisingly, they said that they were okay, and they weren't.
Ms. Laura George, an advocate for indigenous rights, concurred that the situation was poorly handled.
The government reports or the press and what is there says that a secondary school is being built in Mykobi. That's a good thing. It'll be important to know what human resource support they have going beyond a structure, a physical infrastructure.
There is need for mental health experts and other services, not least teachers.
The commission of inquiry, which resulted in a child setting the fire, and that's why the lives were lost without taking responsibility. The state of Guyana shamefully has refused, under the administration of the PPP government, refused to take responsibility on the lives lost of those children and their in-state care.
Yeah. So they gotta start by apologizing for that. Don't come run with funny, try for run with battery. Don't do it. So you saw there, folks, we were telling you earlier on of the Consumer Affairs, the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission. We see now the Melco saying you gotta watch that repackaging of flour. The Melco, National Flour Company, says you gotta watch this repackaging of flour. Could have problems, this time of year. A lot of folks stocking up on flour. We got a lot of cake to bake and bread and so on, the pepper and thing and so forth. The National Milling Company, the Melco, has cautioned consumers, a lot of caution. Competition and Consumer Affairs cautioning, the Melco cautioning consumers against purchasing illegally repackaged flour, emphasizing the health risk and lack of legal recourse associated with buying unlabeled products. So they say, buyers beware. You buy flour that has been illegally repackaged. You ain't got no label on it. It's just a clear plastic bag and contents inside. You buy at your own risk. That's what they're telling us. That's what they're telling us. They're telling us they're Thunderbolt and made Merian flour. They're produced under ISO compliant facilities under strict sanitation and quality controls, contrasting with repackaged flour often sold under unsanitary conditions. Folks, sometimes you just gotta go a little for your own health and safety, right? Any clear bag and say might be a little cheaper. This holiday, as far as you can help it. Don't eat no smuggled chicken. Right? Don't eat no smuggled flour. And sometimes your belly just jumping. You're pregnant, these things. Smuggled flour, smuggled chicken, smuggled rum. So let's be careful this season. Please and thank you. Let us be careful this season. As we close, people could start by apologizing for those 20 lives lost, apologizing for Saturday or so. And I heard Nigel Hughes, leader of the Alliance for Change, over the weekend, rattled off a whole host of other things. You know, they were asking the Alliance for Change to apologize. Look, Nigel, a lot diplomatic for these folks. And he wants aristocratic, diplomatic for the who? Apollo who? The things these chakabats have done, they want you apologize for things that you know about? Huh? Oh, all right. All right. Watch the list of things they got to apologize for.
Don't let's get selective in our morality in Ghana. Don't let's get selective. Has anybody apologized for Mr. Crummy Wing? Has anybody apologized for Johansi Douglas? Have we yet received any apology for the slaughter of Orrin Boston? Has anybody apologized for those 1,200 African males that disappeared and we still don't have a commission of inquiry? Has anybody apologized for Ronald Waddle's killers still not being brought? Has anybody apologized for the cell phone tracking equipment that came into this country that Roger Khan and now Ambassador Ramsamy, was Minister Ramsamy, brought into the country? Has anybody apologized for many things in our past? So when you somehow seem to select the Alliance for Change, the Alliance for Change has never been accused of killing a single Guyanese citizen. Never. We have never had a single minister, party official, nobody in the Alliance for Change has ever been associated with the killing of a citizen of this country. And you somehow want to say, because we have asked what it is we must apologize for, given the history of the events that some of which I've just articulated, that nobody has been ever called on to apologize. It's a bit of a, selective morality. And so when Mr. Boston's family gets an apology, when Mr. Crummy Wing's family gets an apology, when we start to get real prosecutions, we have paper shorts being shot down just outside the president's residence. Nobody's charged. No apology from the Commissioner of Police for their failure to act or failure to investigate. The two young men that got murdered up in West Coast Berbice, the Henry brothers, the Henry boys, for their death. So when you come and say to the Alliance for Change, which has never been associated with any murder, any political assassination, any form of violence, whether by inference or directly, you want an apology for them, and you have not had the courage to ask the people who have been involved in those deaths that I just mentioned, and in those circumstances, sounds a little selective to me.
Yeah. Until that day. Until that day, it shall remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued, but never attained. Over to you. Over to you. Start the apologies. Please and thank you. We're watching you. Until that day. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Thanks for joining us. Jamal Aziz, Everett Small, Beth, Michelle Justice, Donna Daly, Marlon Thomas. Good to have you. Auntie Sandra Hanover, Nigel Plass, Lex Barker, Michelle, and all the other folks on with us. Savage. Good to have you too. Lester Williams, folks. That's our time this evening. And that's our program. Stay safe until we see you guys again. So tomorrow we're off, folks. Tomorrow we're off. I'm going to lend some support to my wife's family. My wife is burying her cousin, a beloved cousin. We're going to bury him tomorrow. We're going to be in Berbice for all of the day tomorrow. So we're going to be off tomorrow morning. We're going to be off tomorrow night. We apologize. But allow me this 24 hours to be there for my wife, be there for her family as they buried 37 years old and went pretty quickly, was ill briefly, 37 years. I don't even know till now they know what killed this young man. 37 years old. But we're going to give him a good send-off tomorrow. God willing. So we're going to be off tomorrow morning, off tomorrow night. Bear with us. Bear with us. You guys have lots of what to hold your attention. They'll be see you guys back on Wednesday. That's our time this evening, folks, and that's our program. We apologize. We apologize beforehand. That's it.